At this point, wala ka na magagawa sa 6 months na lumipas. You only have control on the upcoming months na meron ka. I'm not saying that the annual goals, breaking down into smaller things, don't work at all. It used to work for me. But right now, it's easier for me to see progress when I actually set quarterly goals. Nasa gitna na tayo ng taon. It's already June as of this filming time. And I don't know if you've set goals at the start of the year and you feel like wala kang progress. Why not try setting quarterly goals instead? And this is not the kind where you set a big goal and then break it down into smaller goals to parang maging mas achievable, which is a good way of setting goal. That kind of goal setting worked for me before. And if it's a bigger picture kind of goal setting, breaking it down into smaller one is very helpful. Right now, I want to talk about this new thing that has been working for me so far. It's actually having quarterly quests or quarterly goals na hindi siya tied to like a super big goal. And madalas hindi nga rin siya planado eh. I'm usually just going with parang what I feel like I want to explore in the next quarter, in the maybe next 3 to 6 months or so. But surprisingly, it's working so far. Like, in the last 6 months, tingin ko, ang dami ko na namang nagawa. And before kasi, how I set goals was like an annual thing. Yung common na, okay, January, what do I want to achieve at the end of the year? And let's say, parang at the end of the year, dapat na-achieve ko na tong income goal ko na to, or dapat may savings na ako na ganito, or dapat nakastart na ako ng YouTube channel, like at the end of the year, like which is December pa. If I made that a goal ng parang January, writing down those goals at the start of the year or before the year ends usually feels very productive. Like, the writing down of goals itself, it will make you feel like, okay, you've done something already. Kasi it actually gives you that feeling na, okay, I have a plan for my life. That's great. While it worked for me for a few years, like when I was starting, I have this big goal of hitting this income per year. It worked for a few years, pero ngayon nagta-transition ako into something more spontaneous in a way, na parang hindi ako super tied to like that goal that I have to achieve at the end of the year na parang buong taon yun na lang yung iniisip ko. And this actually started when I realized that there's this one goal that I have on my bucket list that I have been delaying, even though I really want to do that, even though I know that's something that would light me up or like make me happy, or it's something that I know that I actually liked or I want to try again. And hindi ko alam kung bakit ko dinedelay yung bagay na yun. So last year, nung end of 2025, I decided na, okay, I'm really going to check this off my bucket list, which is studying culinary, just a short course, hindi yung parang full course one para maging chef. Because I really want to give my younger self yung gusto niya when I was younger. That's the course that I really want to take. And even though I have the time nitong mga nakaraan taon to actually do that, I never really pulled the trigger. Kasi I think at the back of my head, inisip ko na, it's just there. Andyan lang naman yon na if I want to study that, I can take that anytime. I can do that anytime. Pero if you think about it, no one really knows kung meron ka pa bang tomorrow talaga. So late last year, yun yung naging decision ko na, okay, for Q1, just for Q1, I'm gonna allot some time to this, to studying culinary, because it's just a 12-week course. So yun, in my head, yun lang yung magiging focus ko. I'm gonna stay in Manila kahit na ayoko magstay doon. Hindi talaga ako city girl. There were like a lot of trade-offs. I think kahit na alam kong gusto ko gawin yung culinary, there are these factors na like yung pagta-travel ko, I'm not doing it kasi inisip ko, wait, paano yung travel ko? Paano yung freedom ko? Like, kasi I have to be there every Saturday. So, I think that's why I've been putting it off. I actually managed to finish that up until March. May isa lang ako na-miss na class for a friend's wedding. But, dun ko na-discover na, I think setting quarterly goals where you give yourself like a time limit to actually do something instead of like 1 full year, you just give yourself 3 months to focus on this thing. Okay, I'm actually doing something. Hindi man siya part nung like parang bigger goal ko, pero it's part of still living the life that I actually want. Like, like doing these things na, okay, hindi siya productive, but I really wanna do this. So, nung natapos yung class ko na yon, nung March, I was like, okay, what's next? What's gonna be my thing for Q2 and Q3? What am I gonna focus on those quarters? So yun, that is content creation. It took me a while to actually step into going semi-all-in. Semi-all-in because I'm just doing this on the side, diba? Parang it took me a while to actually decide na, okay, this is going to be my focus for Q2 and Q3. I think having that time limit actually gives you something na parang, saglit lang naman to eh. Why not actually do it? Why not try it or explore it and see if I like it? Q2, Q3, ito yung focus ko. In the next 6 months, this is gonna be my goal to actually release something at least every week and just try to see for myself if I'm actually gonna like it. And so far, it's still a bit tricky. I can't say na parang it's going super well. There are days that it's going really well. There are days like ngayon na parang medyo nahihirapan ako to film and I don't know why yet. I think it's because nawala ako sa habit of actually doing it. So I need to get into that habit of doing this more. As long as I'm making progress towards this focus ng Q2 and Q3 ko, I think I realized that setting quarterly goals just makes more sense. Yung culinary course, and even itong filming na to, these are the things that I've been really putting off because I feel like it's too big or I'm gonna trade a lot of things to be able to actually show up. And I remember na parang every year, in the last years na parang, okay, this year sabi ko, mag-enroll talaga ako sa culinary course or this year, I'm gonna try to film more. Lagi ko sinasabi yon. Like, ilang taon na. Pero kasi ang haba. Ang year, like 12 months. And I think that's the problem with annual goals. You feel like you have so much time na, okay, mahaba pa yung taon, 6 months pa lang nakalipas, may 6 months pa ako, only to find yourself at the end of the year na, parang wala akong natapos sa mga sinabi kong gagawin ko this year So maybe the problem with annual goals is it's not that they're too big, but they're too far. If you actually give yourself like a time limit, okay, for Q1, for 3 months, for 6 months, ito yung focus ko and actually focus on that thing. Feeling ko mas nagkaka-progress ako in that sense. In this current season, it makes more sense for me to do quarterly quests, to give myself time limit to do these things and not treat it as like something na, okay, I can procrastinate on because no, I said this is gonna be my focus for Q1. I'm gonna stick to attending my Saturday classes even though kating-kati ako gumala na mag-slow travel. Well, gumala pa rin ako that time. Pero my head was really, okay, I need to show up on my Saturday classes. And for this one na Q2 and Q3, my goal is to set up this podcast or film more. Just be comfortable in talking to the camera and showing up online because it's not really easy as someone who likes being invisible. Oh, Princess Diaries yan. I'm invisible and I am wet.
I am invisible and I am wet.
I remember that scene, but as someone who likes working on the behind the scenes, I'm just used to being behind the scenes. Hindi ako sanay mag-show up, so this is my current discomfort zone. And I'm trying to just embrace it. My mind is just set to, okay, Q2, Q3, this is my goal, and I'm gonna work to achieving this goal kasi parang mas magkaka-action if you actually think about it. Okay, ito lang naman yung gagawin ka in the next 3 to 6 months eh. It's like when you set this annual goals, your brain kinda knows na, okay, I have 12 months. So parang walang sense of urgency, right? Although, yes, the intention is there, pero at the back of your head, inisip mo, okay, I still have 6 months left. If you actually set a goal at the start of the year and tingin mo, hindi mo pa nagagawa yung goal na yun, why not try setting it na, okay, for Q3, for July, August, September, ito lang yung magiging focus ko. Kasi yung brain mo, nakawire na, okay, 3 months. 3 months lang, gagawin ko to. I think doon mas magkaka-progress ka compared na, okay, may 6 months pa ako, pwede ko yung gawin ng November, December, just for the sake of, okay, na-accomplish ko yung ano, but did you really? But technically, if you're gonna procrastinate yung goals na sinet mo at the start of the year, na parang, okay, magka-cram ka towards the end of the year, parang nasayang na yung mga unang months na you could have done it actually. But since you said na, okay, this year, ito yung goals ko, you just really end up procrastinating. So, imagine na, okay, yung this year, let's say, for this half of the year, may 6 months ka pa para gawin yung mga goals na sinet mo at the start of the year. If you actually sit down and pick one thing from that goal, from that bucket list, and just say na, okay, this is gonna be my focus for Q3, and actually stick to that, then magugulat ka na lang at the end of the year na, nagawa ko talaga. Kasi you give yourself like a shorter time limit instead of like a full year to actually do it, na you keep thinking, may time pa ako, but who knows? Like, tomorrow is not really guaranteed. If something happened to me at the start of the year, kasi hindi ko nagawa yung mag-aral ako ng culinary, then it's something that probably I would regret. Akala ko kasi may time pa ako, diba? Having one clear focus for the next 3 months. For July, August, September, what is it that you are gonna stick to actually doing? Then for October, November, December, like, go back to that list that you have nung nag-start yung taon. Put mo siya, okay, this Q3, ito yung focus ko. Isa lang pili ka lang ng isa. It's not that I'm saying that you cannot do other things during that quarter, but that's gonna be your main focus. Even though my focus for Q2 and Q3 is actually filming this video, I'm still doing other things, especially sa business side of things. Pero this is something that I've been putting off kasi and me thinking that, okay, Q2, Q3, ito yung focus ko. Ito yung nagiging priority ko. So, it doesn't mean that hindi ka nagagawa ng ibang bagay. Depende on how much focus that goal is actually needed. If you really need to parang do deep work, like maglaho ka for like a few months, then maybe you have to do that when you have a goal. Alam ng brain mo na this is my focus for Q3 and Q4, and parang hindi na siya nasa background lang, nasa foreground na siya na, okay, I have to do this because sabi ko Q3 and Q4, ito yung magiging focus ko. You can still do other things. Like for me, it's content creation and being more comfortable talking to the camera. Well, there's still a lot of things that I'm working on. I know na yun pa rin yung focus ko na, okay, how do I get more comfortable talking to the camera? How do I push myself to actually write content and then create it? So on days where I try to distract myself, yung brain ko talaga, yun nga yung nire-remind talaga ako because sabi ko, okay, sabi mo Q2 and Q3, ito yung focus mo so di do that. Compared to if like, okay, for the whole year, sabi ko ganito gagawin ko and then I keep saying mamaya kasi hindi pa naman matatapos yung taon. I've done that to some of my goals. That's why right now ang ginagawa ko is set it as a quarterly goal instead of a goal for like the whole year. And that's been going well so far. That's why I'm able to do this kasi nga I gave myself a timeline or a deadline. So, I hope that makes sense. I hope you find it helpful. I hope this actually gives you a new insight in terms of paano mo ba aatakihin yung mga gusto mong gawin sa buhay. Kasi there are so many things that we wanna do sa life natin. Ako, as a manifesting generator, which is my human design, I'm really wired to like do a lot of things. So I hope you actually got some new insights on how to actually work with your goals on a quarterly basis instead of one whole year. That actually gives you time to procrastinate na walang sense of urgency yung things. And don't feel bad. Like at this point, wala ka na magagawa sa 6 months na lumipas. You only have control on the upcoming months na meron ka, which we don't know if meron tayo. But like, if we are thinking in that direction in a quarterly basis, diba? You can revisit the goals that you set at the start of the year. What do I really want to do for Q3? What have I been procrastinating on that I need to focus sa Q3? What have I been procrastinating on that I need to do sa Q4? So for me, that's been going really well. And I hope if you try that, I hope that works for you as well. I'm not saying that the annual goals, breaking down into smaller things, don't work at all. It used to work for me. But right now, it's easier for me to see progress when I actually set quarterly goals. If you set a focus for each quarter, it actually gives you more progress. In a way na, okay, sabi ko ito yung focus ko and I'm actually doing it. Like for this one, if I feel like I'm failing on other things, it's fine because what's my focus? This, content creation, showing up, getting more comfortable sa camera. I guess that's it. Try it in quarterly goals and really focus on that one thing instead of setting a goal at the start of the year and then at the end of the year feeling mo wala kang nagawa. I hope that makes sense and I hope you accomplish more of the things that you wrote at the start of the year. I feel like it's gonna happen naman if you actually really sit down and focus on your quarterly goals. I will see you on the next episode. Bye. If something about today felt like a conversation you've been waiting to have, stick around. Because that's exactly what this show is here for. figuring out life together with me, one honest conversation at a time. If you'd like to stay updated on all my podcast episodes, you can subscribe to this channel if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can give this show a follow on Spotify. I'd also love to hear what you think about the show. Send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram at FiguringOutLifePH. Let's continue to figure out life together, and I'll see you on the next one.